All right, let's get started. Ooh, I need to change my mood. Sonata Izing. Sonata-izing. We're sonata-izing today. It's time to sonata-ize. Hi. Hi, my name's Isaac Anzu. I'm a chimera from the monster world here to learn about human culture. And it's a great time. So I updated my profile on Twitter because I realized that I'm doing all these like right before I go to bed, really. So I'm kind of sleepy all the time. So I'm a sleepy chimera. But maybe that's chill. Maybe it's relaxing to just sleep. To just go to sleep. But we have stuff to learn. We have stuff to learn about human culture. And boy, did I learn a lot about human culture this week. This past week, so I had a YouTube content strike for speaking about a global topic. And yeah, it was not fun. But I decided to up the ante, I guess, or be rebellious in my own little way by making a video where I made crude jokes about the topic without ever actually talking about it. And hey, no content strike. So, what does that mean? Well, not much really. I'm sure that you know that dirty jokes are allowed on YouTube, even if certain affecting the globe topics are not. And boy, we have a good source of dirty jokes for our topic today. It's Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Yeah, he was a dirty boy. I'm hoping that we can get some juicy gossip on Mozart. We're gonna skip over some of the historical details, and we're gonna try to find the juiciest Mozart gossip. Maybe on Wikipedia, maybe other than Wikipedia. I've heard a lot of things. Apparently he wrote some really, really interesting letters. I feel like letter writing, I don't want to be boomer and say it's a lost art, but people really don't write letters anymore. I mean, like emails is the closest you can come, but people pretty much receive that instantly. Is there a type of communication where you deliver the communication and then sometime in an indeterminate time in the future, the other person receives it? It's not instant. It's not, the next time you check it. It's sometime in the future. I mean, aside from me speaking to you, dear humans, that is an indeterminate amount of time for this communication. But yeah, is there such a thing? Is there a modern equivalent to letter writing? I don't know if there is. Everything's so instant. I guess that you could probably, there are probably sites that sleepy. There are sites probably that out there that would take something you wrote and delay it Hmm. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the goal is to like notify you as soon as possible, right? I don't know. Is there such a thing? I guess I could look it up. But no. Today we have to discuss Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. And I'm very excited about it. I mean, not to say that nothing's happening in my life right now. The opposite, in fact. But I want to get to Mozart. Let's do Mozart. Let's get to Mozart. Let's chat about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Here's some juicy gossip right off the bat. His full name was Johannes Chrysostomus Wolfgangus Theophilus Mozart. It's a pretty big birth certificate. Born in Salzburg in the Holy Roman Empire, Mozart showed prodigious ability from his earliest childhood. Yeah, we know this. He did a bunch of music. What's the juice? Where's the juice? All right, let's see. We're probably going to find the most juice in life and career, or maybe appearance and character. You know? Whew. Goodness. Really tired today. The fact that he has an entire section of his Wikipedia article on appearance and character. Now that is a good sign. All right. Early life. I don't think we really want early life. Where was he born? 1756. So when he was 6 years old until he was 17 years old. Any famous funny things that happened here? While Wolfgang was young, his family made several European journeys in which he and Nannerl's his sister. Yes. Yeah. Right? Nannerl. His sister. He and Nannerl. Where was I? He and Nannerl performed as child prodigies. Hey, there we go. These began with an exhibition in 1762 at the court of Prince Elector Maximilian III. Oh man, good name. Prince Elector Maximilian III of Bavaria in Munich. And at the imperial courts in Vienna and Prague. Yes. Hey, Johann Christian Bach. The 18th child of Johann Sebastian Bach. He was a pretty good composer in his own right, actually. And yes, Johann Sebastian Bach had a lot of children. That's what you do in those age. 18th child and youngest of his 11 sons. The young one. The youngest son. He got big shoes to fill. But yeah. Mozart was influenced by a son of Bach. So they were pretty close in terms of timeline historically. When he was 8 years old, Mozart wrote his first symphony, most of which was transcribed by his father. What are you doing at 8 years old? Not writing your first symphony? Of course not. Your dad's not the best music teacher in the entire world. Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, here we go. In Rome, he heard Gregorio Allegri's Miserere twice. Miserere. Twice in performance in the Sistine Chapel, and wrote it out from memory, thus producing the first unauthorized copy of this closely guarded property of the Vatican. So he went to the church and listened to this piece, Miserere. And this is not a easy piece. It is two choirs and instrumentation. Right? But Mozart was all like, yeah, I like this piece. I'm going to transcribe it by ear while I'm listening to it in the chapel. Less than 3 months after hearing the song and transcribing it, Mozart had gained fame for the work and was summoned back to Rome by Pope Clement the 14th, who showered praise on him for his feat of musical genius and awarded him the chivalric Order of the Golden Spur. Hey, at least they were good sports about it. Okay, wait. So he visited the church on Wednesday, and later that day wrote it down entirely from memory, returning to the chapel that Friday to make minor corrections. Excellent. So it wasn't even 2; it was really 1 with minor corrections. Why was it banned? Oh, at some point, it became forbidden to transcribe the music, and it was allowed to be performed only at those particular services in the Sistine Chapel, thus adding to the mystery surrounding it. Oh, this is like this is like people who inflate the value of things. I'm sure there's a better term for that, but you've got an inflated sense of mystery. Ooh. And Mozart's just like, but I can hear the music, so I'll just write it down. In Milan, Mozart wrote the opera Mitridate Re di Ponto, which was performed with success. An Italian opera. An early opera seria in 3 acts. Yes, but he was not that old. He was not that old when he wrote it. Yeah, he was 14. Look, there's the picture. There's the picture on my thumbnail. This led to further opera commissions. Nice. Opera commissions are good. He returned with his father twice to Milan. Leopold hoped these visits would result in a professional appointment for his son. And indeed, ruling Archduke Ferdinand, not the Archduke Ferdinand that was killed to start World War One or two, I think. This is way earlier. Contemplated hiring Mozart, but owing to his mother, Empress Maria Theresa's reluctance to employ useless people, the matter was dropped, and Leopold's hopes were never realized. Oh boy, who's this Empress turned down Mozart because she did not like to employ useless people. Yeah. Oh my God. The problem with being royalty, and this is true even in current royalty, so celebrities, like, usually the earliest you can get into like Hollywood is as a kid, but you have to have your parents kind of oversee you, right? So you can be a child actor, even a famous child actor, but there's like, you can't be a baby and be famous, right? Babies all look the same. Who's the baby who played the baby in Baby Genius? Nobody knows, right? So, you're not going to get famous as a baby. Macaulay Culkin got famous, right? Didn't work out well for him. Who's the guy who played Harry Potter? Daniel Radcliffe. He got famous at a young age, and now he does art films, and I guess that satisfies his soul, so it worked out for him. But the point is, like, even when you're a kid and you're like, you've expressed to your parents that you want to be an actor, and your parents are kind of watching over you, right? When you're royalty, right? Or I guess if you're a celebrity baby, you're like in the spotlight from the youngest possible age. It's kind of insane. Look at this. This is a painting of a 3-year-old. Why? Why are there flowers? Why is she wearing such an expensive dress in the woods? This is totally like, Josh. Hey, Josh. Great landscape. Do you mind if I borrow it? Oh, sure thing. Unidentified painter. Sure thing, unidentified painter. Go right ahead. A few weeks later. Hey, where's that painting of mine? Oh yeah, I had to paint the the new princess, the newborn princess, 3 years old. So I just painted over your beautiful landscape. What? Somebody's poor landscape painting was painted over with a picture of a. What is that? It's like a bonnet. Gah. Ugh. Goodness. Maria Theresa was a serious and reserved child who enjoyed singing and archery. She was barred from riding the horse by her father. She was a horse girl, but would later learn the basics for the sake of her Hungarian coronation ceremony. Oh, I want to hear about her ascension to being an empress and how she turned down. She turned down. Oh my gosh, she had so much. Who is this person? I've never heard of Empress Maria Theresa of, is that Habsburg? Where's Habsburg? Is that in Austria? Habsburg. It's a modern umbrella term coined by historians to the numerous lines of the Habsburg dynasty, especially those for the Austrian line. Where was the Habsburg dynasty? The House of Habsburg. What? So it's an old place. It's not around anymore. This is not helpful. It was somewhere in Austria. There was some Austrian empress who said to Mozart, "You are a useless person." And Mozart grew up to be who he was. But instead of working in Milan, he worked in Salzburg. Yes, under Prince Archbishop Hieronymus Colorado. All these portraits are just so, like, they want to look so important. I mean, I guess they were at the time, right? It's funny how history has that flattening effect. Like, Mozart was cool. Hieronymus Colorado was cooler because he employed Mozart. He was the boss of Mozart. But we don't remember who Hieronymus Colorado is. The composer had many friends and admirers in Salzburg and had the opportunity to work in many genres, including symphonies, sonatas, string quartets, masses, serenades, and a few minor operas. Between April and December 1775, Mozart developed an enthusiasm for violin concertos, producing a series of 5, the only ones he ever wrote, which steadily increased in their musical sophistication. Ooh, look at this guy go. Despite these artistic successes, Mozart grew increasingly discontented with Salzburg and redoubled his efforts to find a position elsewhere. One reason was his low salary. How much is 150 florins a year? Do they still use florins? Florins to dollars. A Rubian florin? The Florentine florin. I don't think this is quite what we were looking for. It's a bit older. History of coins in Italy. Okay. So florin. That's too late. 1800s, 1700s. Is there, where was this? Salzburg? History of coins in, there's only 2 history of coins articles. Salzburg. Nope. Let's try Salzburg, Florin. Wait. Who is this? Eurovision 2013. Florin Cesar Uatu, known professionally as Cesar the Voice, or simply Cesar, is a Romanian opera countertenor, singer, and pianist. Dang. And Eurovision, 13th place. I don't know anything about Eurovision. How many people were in Eurovision? Is 16th place pretty good? Wait, it's like a 39 countries participate. So 16th is pretty good, above middle. The winner was Denmark. Are there, oh my gosh, there's so much information about Eurovision. I never knew. Russia participates. Oh, that's cool. Denmark. There you go. The first place. Final. Denmark. Look at that. Eurovision. Wait. Azerbaijan rigged the vote? Prior to the finals, the Lithuanian media outlet 15 Minutes released an undercover video suggesting that representatives from Azerbaijan were trying to bribe Lithuanians for votes in the tele-SMS voting. What? Why would you do that? Hey, the performance of the Finnish entry, Marry Me, caused controversy in certainly more socialist conservative countries broadcasting the contest. The act featured the female singer Krista Siegfrieds and one of her female backing singers kissing each other at the end, widely labeled in media as Eurovision's first lesbian kiss. Siegfried stated to the media that the act was to encourage Finland to legalize same-sex marriage. Hey, nice. That's pretty cool. Is there a Eurovision every year? Eurovision Song Contest. Eurovision Song Contest is an international song contest organized annually by the European Broadcasting Union. Is it yearly? Yep. Traditionally held in the country which won the preceding year's event. Nice. The contest provides an opportunity to promote the host country and city as well as a tourist destination. That's pretty good prize for a city. Oh. As of 2020, Germany has competed more times than any other country, having participated in all but one edition, so not participating is fairly common. Well, Ireland holds the record for most victories with 7 wins in total. How many Eurovisions have there been? Held annually since 1956? Holy smokes. Apart from 2020. They canceled it. They canceled it for 2020. And we can't talk about why on the internet. Or on YouTube, at least. Oh. That's too bad. Wild, wild. This is cool. I had no idea what Eurovision was. And who's the big four? In 1999, an exemption from relegation was introduced for France, Germany, Spain, and the United Kingdom, giving them an automatic right to compete. This group is the highest paying EBU members, which significantly fund the contest each year, subsequently became known as the Big Four countries. This group was expanded in 2011 when Italy began competing again, becoming the Big Five. Originally brought in to ensure that the financial contribution of the contest's biggest financial backers would not be missed, since the introduction of the semifinals in 2004, the Big Five now instead automatically qualify for the final along with the host country. There remains debate on whether this status prejudices the country's results, based on reported antipathy over their automatic qualification and the potential disadvantage of having spent less time on stage through not competing in the semifinals. However, the status appears to be more complex given the results of the Big Five countries can vary widely. The status has caused consternation. Good word. Consternation from other competing countries and was cited, among other aspects, as a reason why Turkey has ceased participating after 2012. Whew, that's rough. Interesting situation. Who's Johnny Logan, the only performer to have won the contest twice? Sean Patrick Michael Sherrod, better known as his stage name Johnny Logan, is an Australian-born Irish singer and composer. Oh yeah, I bet he's two of the 7 Irish wins. Yeah, nice. Johnny Logan. But it doesn't look like we have any information on how much a florin was worth. Unless... Oh, goodness. Limited edition preview. Cool. Yes. All right. Back to Mozart. Doesn't look like anything else happened while at Salzburg. Journey to Paris. There were prospects of employment in Mannheim, but they came to nothing, and Mozart left for Paris on the 14th of March, 1778, to continue his search. One of his letters from Paris hints at a possible post as an organist at Versailles, but Mozart was not interested in such an appointment. He fell into debt and took to pawning valuables. The nadir of the visit. Nadir. The lowest point in the fortunes of a person or organization. The low point, the nadir of the visit, occurred when Mozart's mother was taken ill and died on the 3rd of July, 1778. It's kind of wild that, everybody knows everybody in America knows 1776 was big times in America. It's kind of wild that in 1778, across the world, Mozart was just doing his thing. There had been delays in calling a doctor, probably according to Halliwell, because of a lack of funds. Mozart stayed with Melchior Grimm, who was a personal secretary of Duke d'Orleans, living in his mansion. Who's Melchior Grimm? He has an evil name. Friedrich Melchior, Baron von Grimm. Wait a minute. Is this... Sooner or later, a book entitled The Aesthetic Ideas of Grimm will have to be written. What is this guy? All right, lots about Mozart in this article, actually. It's kind of a possible, patron for Mozart. Doesn't look like anything too juicy. But let's see. Grimm was a German who had moved to Paris at age 25 and was an advanced amateur of music and opera. He was persuaded to take German prodigies under his wing. Grimm had published a highly supportive article on the Mozart children, and he helped the Mozarts perform in Versailles. He recounted with pride the impressive improvisations produced by young Mozart in private and public concerts. Not bad, not bad. Commenting on Mozart's remarkable progress in all areas of music making, Grimm predicted the future operatic success of the young composer. He has written several Italian arias, and I have little doubt that before he has reached the age of 12, he will already have had an opera performed at some Italian theater. Which was true. However, Ebert warns that the reason why Grimm's journal nonetheless needs to be treated with caution is due to the personality of its principal contributor, for Grimm was not sufficiently well trained as a musician to do justice to the art that he was describing, nor is he the man to let slip the opportunity for a flash of wit or elegant turn of phrase, even if it meant violating the truth in the process. So he's kind of dumb and talks a big game. Grimm's second prediction at the end of the same letter didn't turn out as prescient as the first one. If these children live, they will not remain at Salzburg, but before long monarchs will vie for their possession. In fact, Mozart was unable to obtain employment as an opera composer from a European court and remained a freelance opera writer all his life. Well, that's for other reasons, but we'll get to that later. Grimm, a man with strong opinions, nicknamed Tyrion Leblanc, after a famous romantic Valencian knight. And Mozart did not get along very well. Mozart found himself disappointed in Paris. The city was indescribably dirty. Grimm complained that he was not running around enough to get pupils, as he found that the calling on his introductions was tiring, too expensive, and unproductive. People pay their respects, and that's it. They arrange for me to come in such and such a day, then I play for them. Then they say, oh, c'est un prodige, c'est inconceivable, c'est étonnant, and with that, adieu. Apologies to all French speakers in the audience. I am terrible at French. He never got paid for his concerto for flute and harp in C, written for the Duke of Guise and his daughter. Oh, not getting paid for music when it's your profession. Not a great situation. Suspicious by nature, Mozart ended up distrusting Grimm. Of course, his name was Grimm. No, we have to read this part first. He felt that French music was worthless. They understand nothing about music, echoing what Leopold had declared during their first visit to Paris. The whole of French music is not worth a so. Whatever that is. He judged their singers inept. I'm surrounded by nothing but beasts and animals, but how can it be otherwise? For they're just in the same as all in all their actions, emotions, and passions. Jeez, dude. Oh. Like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Mozart found the French language inherently unmusical and so damned impossible where music is concerned, ironizing that the devil himself must have invented the language of these people. Ooh. Oh. Why so harsh, Mozart? Harsh on the French. Although, the French language is pretty rough. So many extra letters. So many extra pronunciations. Suspicious by nature, Mozart ended up distrusting Grimm, while Grimm himself was bound to find Mozart increasingly baffling as a person, with his curious mixture of self-confidence and dreaminess. What a man. Self-confident and dreamy. No, probably more like spacey. Leopold agreed that Mozart should leave Paris. You don't like Paris, and then the whole I don't blame you. My next letter will tell you that you are to leave Paris. And that was the end of Friedrich Melchior Baron von grim. Goodness. All right. We haven't found much juicy gossip yet. Mozart. Okay, so he went to Vienna, and he said, "My main goal right now is to meet the emperor in some agreeable fashion. I am absolutely determined he should get to know me. I would be so happy if I could whip through my opera for him and then play a fugue or two, for that's what he likes." Yeah. However, he got in trouble. A quarrel with an archbishop came to a head in May. Mozart attempted to resign and was refused. The following month, permission was granted, but in a grossly insulting way. The composer was dismissed literally with a kick in the arse, administered by the archbishop's steward, Count Arco. Count Arco, a man famous for kicking Mozart in the butt. And nothing else. Well, he was the archbishop's steward, so I guess he did some stuff. I don't want to rag on those who, did well in their lives, but to be known for kicking a famous person in the butt, I can only be so hopeful. Ah, yes. Marriage and children. After failing to win the hand of Aloysia Weber, who is now married to the actor and artist Joseph Lange, Mozart's interest shifted to the third daughter of their family, Constance. So, Mozart moves in with the Weber family, flirts with Aloysia, and then decides, nope, I'm going to go for Constance. Just move down a rung. The courtship did not go entirely smoothly. Imagine that. Surviving correspondence indicates that Mozart and Constance briefly separated in April 1782. Mozart faced a challenging task in getting his father's permission for the marriage. You come to my house. You ask for the hand of my older daughter, and then you take interest in my younger daughter because you failed. But the couple were finally married on 4th of August 1782. The day before his father's consenting letter arrived in the mail. That's it's his father that didn't consent. Well, yeah. All right. So look, relationship advice time. If you break up in April and get back together, don't get married in August. The couple had 6 children, only 2 of whom survived infancy. Carl Thomas Mozart and Franz Xavier Wolfgang Mozart, I imagine, based on the dates here and the blueness of their articles. All right, we've got a bunch of, music. We've got a bunch of opera, the later years. Final illness and death. His health deteriorated on November 20th, 1791, at which point he became bedridden, suffering from swelling, pain, and vomiting. The New Grove described his funeral. Mozart was interred in a common grave, in accordance with contemporary Viennese custom, at the St. Mark's Cemetery outside the city on 7th of December. If, as later reports say, no mourners attended, that too is consistent with Viennese burial customs of the time. Later, Otto Jahn, 1856, wrote that Salieri, Sussmayr, oh, that's another famous composer, Van Swieten, a diplomat, librarian, and government official, and 2 other musicians were present. The tale of a storm and snow is false. The day was calm and mild. The expression common grave refers to neither a communal grave nor a pauper's grave, but an individual grave for a member of the common people. Common graves were subject to excavation after 10 years. The graves of aristocrats were not. So he got excavated after 10 years. Mozart's modest funeral did not reflect his standing with the public as a composer. Memorial services and concerts in Vienna and Prague were well attended. Indeed, in the period immediately after his death, his reputation rose substantially. Solomon describes an unprecedented wave of enthusiasm for his work. Biographies were written by a bunch of people, and producers vied to produce complete editions of his work. Yes, so this is actually some of the work of his wife. There's a full article on the death of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Is that a picture of him? See, that looks a little more like realistic, maybe. But yes, Constance Mozart was yes. Following her husband's death, Constance addressed the issue of providing financial security for her family. The Mozarts had 2 young children, and Mozart had died with outstanding debt. She organized the concerts of Mozart's music and the publications of many of her husband's works. So she basically became the publisher, producer of all of Mozart's stuff. This is not very juicy. I wanted juicier stuff. God, what? Okay, here we go. Mozart's physical appearance was described by tenor Michael Kelly in his Reminiscence. A remarkably small man, small king, short king, very thin and pale, with a protrusion of hair, fair hair, of which he was rather vain. Yes. There was nothing special about his physique. He was small in his countenance, except for his large, intense eyes. He's like a cartoon character, tiny with big eyes. Gave no signs of his genius. His facial complexion was pitted, a reminder of his childhood case of smallpox. He loved elegant clothing. Kelly remembered him at a rehearsal. He was on stage with his crimson pelisse. A crimson pelisse, a short fur-trimmed jacket. Look at that. Why don't they make him like this anymore? Gold lace cocked hat. Giving the time to the music of the orchestra. Oof, oof, oof. Based on pictures that researchers were able to find of Mozart, he seemed to wear a white wig for most formal occasions. Researchers of the Salzburg Mozarteum declared that only one of his 14 portraits they had found showed him without his wig. Ah, yes, this would be it, wouldn't it? There's white wigs. What's the deal with white wigs? I mean, obviously it's very like old European noble. Why? Can we discover? White wig. A wig. The word wig is short for periwig, which makes its earliest known appearance in the English language in William Shakespeare's The Two Gentlemen of Verona. Of course it does. William Shakespeare invented tons of words. Periwig. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the use of wigs fell into disuse in the West for 1,000 years until they were revived in the 16th century, which would be when Mozart was alive, as a means of compensating for hair loss or improving one's personal appearance. They also served a practical purpose. The unhygienic conditions of the time meant that hair attracted head lice, a problem that could be much reduced if natural hair were shaved and replaced with a more easily deloused artificial headpiece. No kidding. Royal patronage was crucial to the revival of the wig. Queen Elizabeth I, famously wore a red wig, tightly and elaborately curled in Roman style. While amongst men, King Louis XIII of France started to pioneer wig wearing in 1624 when he had begun to prematurely bald. Look at these wigs. Big wigs. The perukes, perukes or periwigs? Perukes or periwigs for men were introduced into the English-speaking world with other French styles when Charles II was restored to the throne, following a lengthy exile in France. So Charles II was the person who brought them to other European courts. These wigs were shoulder length or longer, imitating the long hair that had become fashionable among men since the 1620s. Long hair. I have long hair. I like long hair. It's good. I like long hair. Their use soon became popular in the English court. The London diarist Samuel Pepys recorded that the day in 1665 that a barber had shaved his head and that he tried on his new periwig for the first time, but in a year of plague was uneasy about wearing it. Up and put on my colored silk suit very fine and my new periwig, bought a good while since, but durst not wear it because the plague was in Westminster when I bought it, and it is a wonder what will be the fashion after the plague is done. As to periwigs, for no one will dare to buy any hair for fear of the infection, that it had been cut off the heads of people dead of the plague. Oh man, wild. Here's the 18th century. Bigwig. In 1795, the British government levied a tax on hair powder. The hair powder tax. Grasp. Why do we have a hair powder tax? Yep. James Hamilton? That could be... No. His name's Alexander Hamilton. Dang it. you hear Hamilton these days and you're like, is that the Hamilton? The elaborate form of wigs worn at the coronation of George III was lampooned by William Hogarth in his engraving, 5 Orders of Periwigs. My goodness. Those are some wigs. There is no great difficulty in measuring the length, breadth, or height of any figures where the parts are made up of plain lines. It requires no more skill to take the dimensions of a pillar or cornice than to measure a square box, yet the man who does the latter is neglected. What is this? Is he making fun of wigs, or is he just talking about classical architecture? Oh, yes, he's doing both. There's the 5 orders of classical architecture. And he's comparing it to the 5 orders of periwigs. See, this is the memes. This is the true memes of the 18th century. True memes of the 18th century. Let's see. Mozart enjoyed billiards, dancing, and kept pets, including a canary, a starling, a dog, and a horse. This is very different than the Mozart depicted in the movie Amadeus, where he had a tiny apartment. This guy had a horse. He had a startling fondness for scatological humor, which is preserved in his surviving letters. Mozart and scatology. Let's read all about this. This is the juiciest. Ew. Maybe we shouldn't use the word juicy. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart displayed scatological humor in his letters and multiple recreational compositions. Scatological humor. Toilet humor or potty humor. What is that picture? They're farting on wizards? A letter dated 5th November. The German original is rhymed in verse. Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, famous composer, brilliant mind, wrote the following. Well, I wish you good night. But first, shit in your bed and make it burst. Sleep soundly, my love. Into your mouth, your arse, you'll shove. Leck me im Arsch, geschwindi. This would be translated into English as lick me in the ass, quickly, quickly. Lich mich im Arsch is a standard vulgarism in German. The closest counterpart is kiss my ass. So we talked a little bit a while back about learning profanity in other languages. Here we go. Lech mich im Arsch. Lech mich im Arsch. The passage of time has created an almost unbridgeable gulf between ourselves and Mozart's time, forcing us to misread his scatological letters as even more drastically than his other letters. Very simply, these letters embarrass us, and we have tried to suppress them, trivialize them, or explain them out of the epistolary canon with pathological excuses. Look, he liked the poop jokes. That man has a thing coming out of his butt. What? In German the folklorist and cultural anthropologist Alan Dundes suggested that interest in or tolerance for scatological matters is a specific trait of German national culture, one which is retained to this day. In German folklore, one finds an inordinate number of texts concerned with anality. Schisse, Dreck, Mist, Ars, and other locutions are commonplace. Folk songs, folk tales, proverbs, folk speech all attest to the Germans' long-standing special interest in this area of human activity. I'm not claiming that other people in the world do not express a healthy concern for this area, but rather that the Germans appear to be preoccupied with such themes. It is thus not so much a matter of difference as it is of degree. Wild. We've got some there's Leck mich im Arsch for 6 voices. First published as Las Frau und Sein. So he wrote a piece called Lick Me in the Ass, but they published it instead as Let Us Be Joyful. Leck me in der Arsch fein recht schon sauber. Lick my arse right well and clean. First published as Nichts labt mich mehr als Wein. Nothing pleases me more than wine. Ugh. We gotta find the original, right? We have to find the original. And now, an ASMR reading of text set by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Lick my arse nicely. Lick it nice and clean. Nice and clean. Lick my arse. That's a greasy desire. Nicely buttered. Like the licking of roast meat. My daily activity. 3 will lick more than 2. Come on, just try it and lick, lick, lick. Everyone lick their arse for themselves. Mm-hmm. Wolfgang, why? We're going to look at the potty humor page. The American titular comedy duo Tim and Eric had made numerous comedy sketches based around toilet humor. But why? There's a page for lighting farts. That looks dangerous. Sophomoric humor. There's an entire page for dick jokes. Who wrote this? According to Joanne R. Gilbert, comics use what works, and dick jokes are guaranteed to amuse audience of both genders in a surprising variety of contexts. Simply put, dick jokes get the quickest and biggest laughs, and in stand-up comedy, size does matter. Comedian Bill Hicks satirized the popularity of dick jokes in his own act. He hasn't told any dick jokes. Doesn't he know he's in America? Doesn't he know about our puritanical self-hatred of our own body hair and its desires? The only way we can find relief is through the medium of penis material? Yeah, I'm totally aware where I am. Don't worry. The dick jokes are on their way. The trick is being able to speak the unspeakable and somehow get away with it. Yes. An important component of a dick joke is breaking a social taboo. Very interesting. Not at all. Okay. Not at all, you know. This is scholarly. This is scientific. We're uncovering the deep psychology of human nature. A particularly beautiful student was stunned when the biology professor asked her what part of the human anatomy enlarges to about 10 times its normal measurement during periods of an emotion or excitement. I refused to answer that question, the girl stammered as she shyly avoided looking at her male classmates sitting nearby. One of them was called upon next, and he correctly answered, the pupil of the eye. Miss Rogers, said the professor, your refusal to answer my question makes 3 things evident. First, you didn't study last night's assignment. Second, you have a dirty mind. And third, concluded the professor, I'm afraid marriage is going to be a tremendous disappointment for you. I mean, it's funny. I like puns. I like puns more. What else was he into? Mozart? He wrote, yep, Mozart was raised a Catholic. And yet, he wrote the Poop Sonata. The Poop Canon. Is that the juiciest possible Mozart gossip we have? He liked practical jokes. Gosh. Research is hard. It took the entire time for us to get to just this singular nova, this singular focal point of dirty humor. And I guess that's the juiciest gossip here. I mean, I did like the parts where he was making fun of French people. Not anything against French people, but it was funny. I guess the rivalries between European countries go back quite a way. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in popular culture. Yes, we have the film Amadeus. Popular music. Rock Me Amadeus. Nice. Children's author Daniel Pinkwater, has Mozart appear as a character in several of his books, including The Muffin Fiend. in which 1986, in which Mozart helps solve a crime involving an extraterrestrial creature who steals muffins from Vienna's bakeries. That's fun. How? How would he do that? He writes music and poop humor. I don't think he'd be very good at finding an extraterrestrial creature who steals muffins. Although I have to admit, I'm curious. Mozart appears regularly in the TV series Mozart in the Jungle. Mozart. The story was inspired by Mozart in the Jungle, sex, drugs, and classical music. Oboist Blair Tyndall's 2005 memoir of her professional career in New York. Sex, drugs, and classical music in New York. Recurring cast. Santonio Fontana as Mozart. Who's Santonio Fontana? He was the voice of Prince Hans in Frozen. I guess that's where I would know him from too, because I have not seen Tootsie or Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or Shades of Blue. But he's been on Broadway, so I guess it makes sense that he would be in a musical role. Frozen 2. You know, I heard something really interesting about Hans. So before I watched Frozen, because I did watch Frozen, the character Hans was described in a post on the internet as being like he's a mirror in the original White Queen story. It essentially revolves around a mirror, and there's no mirror in Frozen, but Hans kind of acts as a mirror by reflecting whoever he's with. He blends in well with society. When Anna goes all crazy, he goes all crazy with her. And then when Elsa is all like, you know, antisocial and dangerous to the people around her, he kind of goes that direction as well. And then, of course, I watched the movie, and that was not at all you know, a theme of the movie. It's basically just, you know, he's a jerk who is manipulative and betrays the heroines. And you know what? Fine, totally get it. It's a good twist. But I had high literary expectations, and they were dashed, sadly. But look at this. The Russian voice for Hans won the 2008 Eurovision Song Contest. We're back to Eurovision. Hey, we came all the way around. This is a Eurovision. This is a Eurovision stream all along. Eurovision 2019. Anyway, I think that's enough. I'm so tired. Did we Sonata-ize? We talked about poop a lot, more than expected. We talked about poop more than expected, but I was going for juicy gossip, so I think I succeeded. We also talked about Eurovision, which I didn't know was a thing, and I might have to tune in because it seems like it's a pretty big deal. Anyway, I think that's all for today. I'm gonna go get some sleep, yo. My name's Isaac Anzu. I'm a chimera. I'm from the monster world, and I'll be here on Saturday streaming my little, well, it's not little, my big old heart out to some sort of topic. I'm sure. I've been thinking we're going to do some like more special streams like the speedrunning one. I've already kind of, mastered and set several world records on speed reading Wikipedia. So no need to worry about that. But there's other fun things to do on Wikipedia. So we'll do some of those. But not right now. I'm tired. Thank you, those of you who came. Please subscribe for more human knowledge. And to those of you listening into the future, this is my hand reaching out to you. I'll see you next time.